England men's training session, mid-July 2024. 16 players, one ball boy near the touchline. He is not there for the ball. He is there because the federation said he would be. A community outreach promise. Free academy spots for 40 children from Tyneside after Euro relocation disputes left local clubs furious about lost pitches. The federation announced it publicly. Photographers attended. A banner went up outside St. James's Park. The banner is still there. The 40 spots never opened. Remember this name, Aidan Cole, 11 years old, Newcastle. He was supposed to be one of the 40. His mother kept the printed confirmation email, dated March, signed by an FA community liaison whose title no longer exists on the organizational chart. What was supposed to happen was simple. Local kids, displaced by stadium scheduling chaos during Euro qualifying disruptions, would get structured access to FA-affiliated coaching. Not a one-off clinic, a season, real continuity. The FA called it restorative. Aidan's mother called it a lifeline. He'd been cut from his Sunday league side when the pitch his team used got requisitioned for overflow parking during a rescheduled qualifier. No pitch, no team. No outlet for a boy who, by every account from his old coach, lived for Saturday mornings. She drove him to the first scheduled session in April. Nobody was there. No coach, no registration desk, a locked gate. She called the number on the email. Disconnected. 312 children across Newcastle, Sunderland, and Gateshead were named on FA outreach paperwork obtained through a regional Freedom of Information request. 312 names, 0 confirmed enrollments by July. The FA's original statement, read aloud at the announcement, promised a generational investment in grassroots access following pitch disruption. That phrase appeared in 4 separate press releases. It appears in 0 internal budget documents from the same quarter. Here is the gap. Here is where the money was supposed to go and didn't. A regional youth development officer, speaking only on condition of anonymity because she still works within the football pyramid, said the outreach line item was approved, then quietly reallocated. Not canceled, reallocated. Toward what, she wouldn't specify. It got folded into something else before a single coach was hired, she said. That's the word. Folded. Say it once more. Folded. Sit with that. Newcastle is not alone. 2 boys in Sunderland, ages 9 and 12, were photographed for the original FA promotional material, smiling beside a regional development coach who has since left the organization entirely. Their mother said she still gets asked by neighbors who saw the photo in the local paper when the sessions start. She has stopped answering. A third family in Gateshead withdrew their son from a private coaching arrangement, paying nearly £400 in cancelled fees because the FA program was presented as a like-for-like replacement. It wasn't a replacement. It was a press release. Now the structural cause, told slowly. The pitch disruptions that displaced these children originated from a Euro qualifying rescheduling decision made 11 months earlier, a decision driven by broadcast slot preferences, not local football need. The FA's outreach pledge was announced 6 days after that scheduling controversy made regional news. 6 days. Quick enough to look responsive, not quick enough to be real. The regional development officer who first signed off on partner coaching contracts for the outreach scheme has not commented publicly since March. Her old contact line, the same one on Aidan's confirmation email, was never reassigned. It simply stopped working. A person whose entire job was to make this promise real went quiet and was not replaced. One coach, contracted briefly before the program dissolved, was asked by a local reporter why he never started sessions. He paused for a long moment. He said only that he had cleared his calendar for nothing else. Widen the lens for a moment, because Newcastle's silence is not an isolated failure. It is a pattern repeating itself across English grassroots football whenever a headline needs cooling. A similar outreach scheme, announced after stadium disruptions in the West Midlands 2 years earlier, produced almost identical numbers. Dozens of names collected, a handful of sessions delivered, no public accounting of where the allocated funding actually went. Journalists who pursued it were met with the same answer every time. The program had been folded into a broader initiative. The broader initiative was never named. A football financial analyst who has tracked grassroots spending for nearly a decade said these outreach pledges function less as commitments and more as a pressure valve. They are announced precisely when public anger peaks, she said, and they are quietly absorbed precisely when public attention moves elsewhere. The pattern is consistent enough, she added, that it should no longer be called a coincidence. What does an empty training pitch on a Tuesday afternoon in Newcastle actually mean? It means a federation that photographs commitment and then walks away from it. It means children counted twice, once for a press release, never again for anything real. It means a promise engineered to survive one news cycle and not a single school term beyond it. Not anger, just absence. You may have your own version of this, a program that announced itself loudly and then disappeared so quietly you almost doubted it had existed at all. A commitment that looked solid in a press conference and dissolved the moment nobody was counting anymore. Aiden still walks past the locked training gate sometimes, his mother says, on the way to school. He doesn't ask about it anymore. He has stopped expecting an answer, and in some ways, that is the more unsettling development. Not the broken promise itself, but how quickly a child learns to expect nothing. Right now, miles away, the senior team trains under stadium lights for a tournament with global broadcast deals worth billions. Commercial partners are named in every graphic, every kit, every advertising board around the pitch. None of those names match the names on the outreach paperwork from Newcastle, Sunderland, or Gateshead. The outreach banner outside St. James's Park has started to fade in the rain. Nobody has come to replace it. Nobody has come to take it down either. It simply stays there, half legible now, a public record of a private failure that nobody at the Federation has been asked to explain on camera. The gate is still locked.